Welcome back, everyone. Ready to dive into the wild world of NFTs?
Always ready. Let's go.
All right, so remember that NFT craze back in 2021? Seems like ages ago.
It does. It really does feel like a different era.
Totally. Well, for this deep dive, we're using Masari's Crypto Theses 2025 report to see what's changed.
Great report. Lots to unpack there.
Right. We're going way beyond the headlines to see what's really going on.
Absolutely. Because it's not just about JPEGs anymore, right?
Not just about JPEGs. What do you mean?
Well, you know those early days of NFTs? It was all about digital art and collectibles.
Yeah. But it seems like that's changing.
Big-time NFTs are branching out now. Things like branding, consumer applications, even reshaping how we think about ownership.
Okay. So less about owning a JPEG and more
More
about...
about utility or real-world applications.
Give me an example.
Okay, so think about doodles.
Those colorful characters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They partnered with McDonald's for limited edition McCafe cups.
Really?
Yep. And then there's Pudgy Penguins. They took their Pudgy Toys line to major retailers.
Wow. So NFTs going mainstream.
You got it. It's all about connecting with customers in new ways.
Building communities. Offering experiences.
And speaking of new ways, remember how NFTs promise to give creators royalties on secondary sales?
Oh, yeah. That was a
Yeah.
big selling point.
Well, that's become a bit of a battleground.
Battleground? How so?
Some marketplaces have decided to ditch royalties altogether.
Wait. Really? So creators might not get a cut when their work is resold?
That's the debate.
Right.
It highlights a big tension in the NFT world. Lower prices for buyers versus fair pay for artists.
Now the question is,
Where does the value go? Who benefits in this ecosystem?
that's a huge question. Now, what about those big brands jumping on the NFT train? Are they here to stay, or is this a fad?
You know, it's interesting. Their approach seems to be evolving.
Evolving in what way?
They're realizing it's not enough to just slap a logo on a JPEG and call it a day.
So no more quick cash grabs.
It's more strategic now, building communities, offering those unique experiences. We talked about deeper connections with their audience.
So give me a good example of this new approach.
Look at Beyoncé. She partnered with Gameloft to develop a free-to-play mobile game.
Beyoncé. Now we're talking. That's huge.
It shows how major artists are starting to integrate their work with NFTs.
So it's going beyond just the art world.
Absolutely. It's impacting entertainment, gaming, all sorts of industries.
All right, so if we're not just talking about Ethereum anymore, what other blockchains are in the game?
Well, Ethereum used to be the only option, but things have changed.
So what's new? What's hot?
New blockchains, new marketplaces popping up everywhere. It's driving innovation like crazy.
That's got to be good for accessibility, right?
Definitely more options, more competition, more ways for people to get involved.
What are some of these new players making waves?
Well, there's ordinals, for example. These are NFTs built on the Bitcoin blockchain.
Bitcoin getting into NFTs. Who would have thought?
Right. And get this, their trading volume briefly surpassed Ethereum's.
Wow, that's a serious shakeup.
And marketplaces like Magic Eden, they adapted quickly to integrate ordinals.
Shows how dynamic this space is.
Super dynamic. Things are changing constantly. But here's the question. Are NFTs just hype? Or are they building a new digital world?
That's the million-dollar question.
Well, if you look past the hype, you'll see NFTs are changing how we think about ownership identity, even access to experiences.
Okay, I'm listening. Tell me more.
So imagine your digital identity tied to an NFT.
Like a digital passport.
Kind of. It could grant you access to exclusive content events, even physical spaces.
So your NFT unlocks a whole new world.
Exactly. And platforms like Zora, they're blurring the lines between an NFT app and a social app.
So it's like social media, but with ownership baked in.
You got it. It's a more integrated experience.
I like the sound of that. But you know something's been bugging me. What about those royalty wars we talked about?
Yeah, what about them?
Doesn't that hurt creators? I thought NFTs were supposed to empower them.
That's a great point, and it highlights a real tension in the NFT world.
How so?
It's still early days, remember. We're still figuring out how to balance the needs of creators, collectors, and marketplaces.
Makes sense. There are going to be bumps in the road.
Exactly. But the potential for NFTs to support creators is still huge.
So what's next? What should we be watching for?
Well, scalability is a big one. As more people use NFTs, the technology needs to keep up.
Right. It's got to be able to handle all those transactions.
Exactly. And it needs to be done sustainably.
And what about the environmental impact? That's a big concern for a lot of people.
Absolutely. But the industry is working on it. More energy efficient systems, alternative blockchains with a lower footprint.
So it's not just about the tech, it's about using it responsibly.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
And then there's the whole question of regulation. Governments are still trying to figure out what to do with NFTs.
It's a whole new world for them, too.
Totally. They want to protect consumers, but also not stifle innovation. It's a balancing act for sure.
So what advice would you give to our listener? How can they stay ahead of the curve?
Stay informed. This space is constantly evolving. Read everything you can get your hands on. Listen to podcasts like this one. Talk to people.
Be curious.
Yeah.
Ask questions.
Exactly. The more you learn, the better equipped you'll be to navigate the NFT world.
It's a journey for sure.
And it's a journey we're all taking together.
Okay. I'm ready for the next leg of this journey. What else you got for me?
Well, let's talk about how this all ties back to ownership, because NFTs are really shaking things up.
In what way?
Well, think about it. For the first time, we can truly own digital assets. Not just copies, but the originals.
That's pretty revolutionary when you think about it.
It is. And it has implications for everything, from art and music to virtual real estate and even our identities.
So NFTs are about more than just buying and selling.
Way more. They're changing how we interact with the digital world,
Yeah.
how we value things, how we express ourselves.
Like a whole new set of rules is being written.
Exactly. And we're all part of writing those rules.
That's pretty exciting, but also a little daunting.
It's both. It's
Yeah.
a huge opportunity. But we need to be mindful of the challenges too. Things like security, sustainability, inclusivity.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one big takeaway you want our listener to remember?
NFTs are more than just a tech trend. They represent a fundamental shift in how we think about ownership and value in the digital age.
It's like we're on the verge of a new digital renaissance.
I like that. A digital renaissance where creativity and innovation are unleashed in ways we never thought possible.
And as we embark on this journey, it's important to remember that we're all in this together.
Absolutely. We need to collaborate, experiment, learn from each other.
So to our listener, stay curious, stay engaged, and stay tuned. The future of NFTs is just beginning.
And it's gonna be wild. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring.
See you in the metaverse.